know what? No, fuck that. At the very top of the male hierarchy, because you gotta remember, at the very top of the male hierarchy, when it comes to black men, it ain't it, no, it's dark skinned ninjas and pookies. All right, mostly losers. When we think about the lifespan and the life cycle of a street nigga, the type of ninja that y'all imitate, you try to be like, you want to dress like, you want to talk like, and we all guilty of it. We all do it to a certain degree, and we call it culture, right? But what you losers have done is you taken a hijacked the word culture to become like an excuse, to become this reason for doing some BS, right? And you'll say culture. You don't understand. Whenever you want to get out of an argument, because let me tell you something, this is the thing that started back in 2016. I remember the first time I heard someone say, do it for the culture. Now, that used to be kind of a joke, right? But niggas would say that when they wanted you to do some shit for free. Right, and that used to be kind of a complaint, like, yeah, you know, they want me to come out here and perform for free in the park, and I just got a platinum record. Talking about do it for the culture. Whenever people want you to do something for free, or want you to compromise yourself, they would say do it for the culture. Meaning, oh well, I know you don't want to do it, but do it for the culture. And somehow we lost the plot when it comes to culture because why? Because the black community has no leadership, and we're not leadership minded, and we're not based in principles. Everything we do is pretend. Everything is fake. Even the situation with Drake and Kendrick and whatnot, y'all for the most part are perpetuating the narrative of Kendrick being God and everything he ever said was spotless. That's not true at all. Fucking Joe, that's another thing too. Joe was another person who followed the business model of talk about Drake and you get a whole lot. Talk about Drake and you get you some screams. I'm sorry, streams. Talk about Drake and you get you some guap. A majority of the subject matter on the Joe Budden podcast has mostly, I'm going to say mostly been about, but Drake is always a hot topic. And then when it came time for the Not Like Us era, make no mistake, all these rappers have a grudge against Drake because all of them wanted to have what he has. Drake has been smashing the baddest bitch for the last 15 years, smashing them. For when you deal with someone, right, and you're better at what you do than they are, in their mind, the way they see you is they see it as being cucked. They don't see your success as, oh, you're just successful. They see your success as cuckcess. They feel like, oh, well, all right, well, shit, if you like him, you know what I mean? That means you hate me. And they mind and flip when you doing your thing, that's you smashing their jaw better than they can in their face. I always bring up this analogy because if you're a winner, this is how you sound to a loser when you giving information, when you speaking life in the ninjas, when you're saying positive things. It's like this whole narrative about growth and all that type of stuff. Those are excuses. What are you talking about? Someone cannot continue to be successful at what they do without growth, without maturity. So you think it's just all about mistakes. So when he's crafting these albums and whatnot, and staying consistent and staying relevant after all this time, which is it is extremely hard. Pause. For a rapper to have any kind of motion, right? To have a record that moves and people like, right? And then follow it up with anything that people actually like. One of the toughest things that you ever have to do. Like I said, I mean, if you think about it, it's against throughout all time and space. I want you to really think about how many rappers or artists, how many rappers and artists out of all the rappers and artists and singers who have ever existed have been able to give you one hit after another hit, or not even that, give you a song you like and another song you like. But anyway, so set up a little bit of groundwork for the topic, which is you don't have no authority. Stop talking like you got authority. Another thing too is stop listening to niggas like this. Don't listen to someone. First of all, don't get me wrong. There's absolutely nothing wrong with changing lanes, right? But you don't have the kind of credibility to where you can't be questioned. Because for the most part, I never heard your hip hop opinion until you started meet Ryan Kendrick. And another thing too is being exposed with the West Coast is that y'all not united. Y'all pretend to be united for the sake of boosting up Kendrick. Why is that? Because the West Coast has no motion. Name 5 rappers right now that people know about and people are listening to and they want to hear that's from the West Coast. What stars like who the niggas hear on the Kendrick album and then they wanted to hear their album or they wanted to hear their music? I've been listening to this Low Shimmy album for the last week, like 2 weeks and whatnot. Now, don't get me wrong, ain't the most. Then again, all right, this whole concept of I only can enjoy a rapper if he's rapping backwards, he's telling a story backwards, or he's doing storytelling, or just all this shit that makes songs whack. All these things that make songs. All these unnecessary things that aren't entertaining. That's not what makes a song good. That was an era in hip hop where we did storytelling where it was like, all right, first this happened, then that happened, then this happened. Her name was this, his name was this. That was a thing back then. Not that you can't tell stories now, right? You can do whatever you want. But the bar for what a joint is, because this is about entertainment at the end of the day. And that's one thing that we get wrong in the black community is that with anything that we have, we just tend to not understand what to do with it, including hip hop, to the point where you have people again because you have one group who will staunchly always either disagree with or fight against whoever is the top guy. People used to actually fix their mouth to say Jay-Z is whack, whack, whack. But because Jay-Z was so popular and so many people liked him, a lot of people, the way it starts, I think, is that you don't have a personality. You don't be talking about shit. So therefore, you try and make your personality being a contrarian, where you contradict everything people actually talk about or what they say, and do it blindly at that. You understand? So don't get me wrong, it was rare, but people used to feel like, yo, if they a Nas fan, they can't be a Jay fan. Or they would say Jay is whack and say Nas is what? I like Nas and whatnot, but Nas never been nice. Nas has never been bar. He's really in the same league as Kendrick. I think Kendrick do maybe a little bit more than Nas, like technically maybe, but Kendrick is not really a wordsmith. Like Kendrick raps and whatnot. I think it's some rapper shit at heart, but like Kendrick is not someone where like I will be able to write his lines and tattoo his lines or tattoo a Kendrick bar on my body. Like you don't rap like that. You know what I'm saying? When people don't quote Kendrick or write Kendrick lines in Instagram pictures. And I think maybe a little more now, because I think for the most part, again, let's keep it a stack. The most lit Kendrick will ever be is during 2024 and 2025. And again, that whole era proved how powerful media is. And how much, I remember years ago, 50 said, people always build up the top guy to tear him down. If you're the guy that's winning, if you're the heavyweight champ, there will be a minority or maybe a majority of people who want to see you lose, who are betting against you, who are calling you a bum. You understand? But anyway, let's get into this audio of Glasses Malone. Let's get it.
Violence.
Why the fuck would I fight Act?
I'm just curious.
Yeah. Listen, Act is in this really weird space because people call it journalism, but it's not. It's more rooted in his opinion on what's happening in the news. Right? Like a news, they conflate it with somebody giving just, like a news. It's not news.
No, it's academics commentating on what's going on culturally through his perspective.
Through his lens. So it's like, I wouldn't really have no problem. Like me and Act I don't got no problems with Act. The shit he said about my homeboy, they gonna, you can probably have to fight them about this shit. Or you may don't, but like I don't think me and him personally had no thing. I don't think he would want to sit down with me because I know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Right.
Now most of these people not gonna want to sit down with me because I know what I care about it. Like for them, this is just like a hustle. Like they just making money.
Yeah, I think what made academics like endearing to the public on the Joe Budden show was that he felt like he was like a fan, and he is a fan of music, who kind of got thrown on camera.
I don't know if he's really a fan.
No, I'm not saying he's like a fan of like he's not like a hip hop head per se, but I think like
I don't even mean like a hip hop head. I think, man, this tag is just Thursday.
Now, academics responded back to him, and he went.
So I'm gonna play the actual reaction and whatnot because I for the most part, if I play anything from Chick's channel, it's just, I can't get into anything. He has no credibility because the thing about when Chick says stuff and whatnot, and I just take it as, you know what, you're doing content. Again, Drake hate is a whole space. It's a whole industry. People really make money off of hating on Drake. The reason why I talk so much about this shit is because what this does is stifles the creativity and the growth of a lot of people when they have people around them. Because a lot of black men are conditioned to think that you should be tolerating and leaning into and wanting to be around people who hate on you and don't respect or value what you've done and what you bring to the table. It's not just Drake. This is what niggas do in general. And it will always come from someone who can't fuck with you. It's always going to come from someone who no one cares about. Someone who has to assign themselves relevance. So don't get me wrong. Ain't nothing wrong with you making your own way. What I mean by assigning yourself relevance, going back to the whole thing about talking like people think that talking like you're more popular than you actually are. The reason why people don't want to sit down with your glasses is because you're not likable. No one likes you. No one wants to fucking talk to you. What are you talking about? No one ever wanted to talk to you. And also, not only that, no one thinks you smart. You sound smart to a stupid nigga. What are you talking about? Not only that, what would academics get out of talking to you? Do you realize who I'm talking about? Academics platform is so big that he can get paid to not talk about a nigga. QC gave nigga $30,000 to say, yo, lay off a baby. Because they understand the power of image. Only someone who wants to tear down your image wants to convince you that, yo, it's okay if I talk about you like this. It's okay it's okay if I talk down to you like this. It's okay if I spread this rumor about you. It's okay if I fuck with your image. Remember that point I made the other day about Ray Daniels when I said that Ray Daniels pointed out that, yo, it's not that Jay-Z can't do numbers in 2026, but it can't be 60K. It can't be regular numbers. It has to be big boy numbers. It has to be 200K first week, 300K. If Drake doing 300K, Hov got to do about 150, 200. Right? And the thing is, in 2026, if Jay had been more active, bro, Jay put an album out as far as a solo album out in 9 years. You can kind of count the Carters, which I thought was a great album, great rapping by Hov, and also great modern rapping. He was doing modern rapping. He was rapping over like traction that first of all, he was rapping over music. Again, I think it's Beyonce too. Beyonce has a great ear. And she has a great ear for production. So that really helped tremendously. And Jay does the best when he don't gotta do no heavy lifting. And he can just show up and just rap. Those be the best Jay records. And I think at this point, and that's what the artist is also used to from his era, is that, yo, you kind of just rapped your verses and it was good. And thing was, Jay is so good at rapping and his verses sound so good that, yo, like, you know, he can kind of get by. Whereas like now, for him to carry a record now, which I think Jay could do it. It's just that we can even feel from seeing these interviews, seeing these conversations that, yo, not that Jay ever came on to interviews being braggadocious, because Jay stopped doing interviews a long time ago. Jay stopped doing press. I feel like Beyonce started that. Beyonce showed y'all, you don't gotta do no press. Be great. Beyonce don't do no press. All right, because Beyonce is so lit. Even now, I mean, well, mostly to a certain crowd of people, but still, to people who know who Beyonce is, right? When back in 2014, I think it was 2014 or in the end of 2013, right? One of those years, right? When she put out that the self-titled album, Beyonce. Don't get me wrong, that album had like mad songs and it was like mad long, but Beyonce had mad slaps on that shit. Mad slaps, like hella slaps, okay? So, and with that, people heard about it. People started playing the album. People saw how good the album was, right? And she proved that, yo, if you make the music banging, make it jamming, people know who you are already. Because people don't have to go to the store to see, oh, the Beyonce album is on the shelves and whatnot, right? No, they're going to find out instantly. The Beyonce album dropped. Everyone's online talking about it. And somehow along the way, we've gotten to where, and you know what's funny is Beyonce hasn't had to use any controversy she hasn't had to. Now with Lemonade, she did take advantage of Lemonade, but she hasn't had to have a controversy, a beef, or something happening. Beyonce can just put the album out. You know what I'm saying? She can just put the album out. Where does that come from? That comes from talent. That comes from the hard work. Hard work that Glasses Malone never did. So I'm going to argue that Glasses Malone don't know shit about hip-hop. He don't know shit about music because, bro, you're not able to make any. All right? You was always a nigga that was all right with the bars. If we could say that, which is fine. Nothing wrong with it. You can still have an opinion. I'm not a person who feels as though, oh, you can't talk about shit. But we do got to get into is what you saying valid. So he makes this other point about niggas being kids. Let me see if I can find it.
Will respond by threatening.
Just saying that was my thought. I'm like, damn, cuz in his story, like I'm the villain.
An axe?
Sure.
Okay.
Like in Cuz story,
Okay.
I am the villain, bro. Like I am public enemy number one. And he's like in theory with millions of followers. In theory, millions of dollars. In theory, right? They got these mass followers.
Not bad, yeah.
Oh, right? This little small thing. Cause it ain't a lot of us, cause it's just me.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to what's cuz that ran at Hot 97, cool dude that ran it for years. Ebro.
Ebro?
Ebro
Yeah.
ain't Glasses Loke though. Ebro part of the coach, but he ain't Glasses Loke. Like it's different. So like, if my voice could mean that much, like if the fact that Sub Club is here, cuz, and my voice could mean that much, cuz, then what do you think that's saying? Again, bro, I understand what it is. I am the motherfucking villain in mainstream America's story. That's the truth, King. I'm black.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. Stop. 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 Yeah, man. So another thing that I keep hearing Glasses say is this whole thing of like, and this is really kind of like a liberal tactic. This whole, I'm too real for this. I'm too real, bro. Stop. You have gone viral because people kind of know who you are, and also the people that I see doing that show with, those are also Drake haters. Listen, Elliot Wilson and who was it? Anyway, Elliot Wilson was on the show. Oh no, it was like Elliot Wilson and DJ Head. Elliot Wilson, DJ Head, and one other I think it's white dude, I don't know. One other random guy actually were going to do, no, that wasn't going to do. They were doing a show that started off the back of Drake hate. All right. And here's the thing about media. And also, to me, also comment on what he said about it's not media, it's not journalism and stuff like that. If that's the case, then what you're saying ain't valid either, because you were also another ninja online giving his opinion about stuff, which again, it's fine, it's cool, it's the internet, it's what it's here for, right? The problem is your reasoning behind a lot of different things, and rather than saying I have a bias and whatnot, which is fine, I guess you're not gonna do that, right? You're trying to pass it off as hip hop, real hip hop. I'm authentic, I'm real. No one's realer than me. No, nigga, no. Just because you a Crip, don't make it so. And that also shows my point about how in the black community, because again, even the Pookie know it. He at the top of the male hierarchy when it comes to Negro credit. All right, now he may not be chocolate. He may not have chocolate privilege, but he still enjoys Pookie privilege. He's saying he more real because he a Crip. And I'm dead ass. Nigga, they say, oh, they don't talk to Glasses low. No, niggas don't want to talk to you because you've never been relevant. That's why. You've never been relevant at the thing that you actually, that what you actually do. Which is fine. That's cool. But bro, we can't keep doing this.
Of course I'm the villain. I make rap music. Of course I'm the villain. I'm a dope dealer. He said, sell Sherm every day. Of course I'm a villain.
That sound like one of them shorts.
I'm a fucking crip. Of course I'm the villain.
Like one of them shorts.
Of course I'm the villain. Trap, everything about my life and Trap, not only that, I'm a radical nigga in thought. Like I could look at Wednesday's conversation about Tiger's album and sniff out kind of the racism in it. I'm a radical nigga. Shout out to Swab. I'm not being nice, Swab. I genuinely think niggas ain't in my arena, bro. I mean it. It's like me arguing with a little kid. It's like me arguing with a little kid. When it comes to culture, Drake and fucking Atkins little kids to me culturally. When we talk about street urban culture, they like toddlers. They like infant. Like send them on my knee like little dudes. I'm telling y'all. I'm not talking shit about this man. I'm not talking shit about Drake. What's wrong? Like, cuz if we was talking about Jewish culture, cuz I would be a toddler to Drake.
How is he a toddler to you when he's been more successful in the hip hop than you? No one's called you for a feature. You don't have the nigga that you glazed the most, Kendrick. Kendrick you was not on the album. He not on your album. He never been on no tracks with you because you never had no motion. You've never made no fire, which is fine. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you keep making these kind of statements of, don't get me wrong, they sound good for clips. It sounds kind of funny. But saying these are people I put them on the court. All right, and this another thing too. Black people, because the black community is led by black women, we have this behavior of saying shit that sound good. That don't make no damn sense. How are you qualified? What are you talking about? We said culturally. They like kids to me. I put them on my knee. Okay, again, what have you done to say two? You're talking about two people who are far. Okay, so Drake is about 1,000 times. I'm trying to think. He is infinitely at least 100,000 times more successful than you. I'm not even exaggerating. Because you are that unsuccessful at rapping. So he is 100,000 times. So 100,000 times Glasses Malone success, which is nothing, is Drake's success. And why is that? And again, a loser always wants to convince you that whatever you have, whatever you've accomplished, whatever you have going on that's good for you is going on for no reason. Or it's just happening and there's no reason behind it. Or like, for example, a nigga that can't make no joints will always argue that the dude who can make joints don't really matter. Or that it's not the same or whatever because he can't do it. One of the most important parts of any genre of music is someone making smash hits or good records in that genre. You have not done that. What are you talking about? But again, black folks do this thing where we take a word, right? And we start making it mean a bunch of different things culturally. All right. And again, people who have nothing to talk about, people who have nothing to defend, people who again just don't have anything that they built. They use words like racism and culture a lot, especially black folks in particular. Culture, racism, shit like that, right? And whenever they disagree with something, right? Like he just bought the Tiger album. I found that Tiger got a 0 for the album. He got a 0 for the album, bro. Now, don't get me wrong, Pitchfork might have exaggerated, but I ain't gonna lie. I was like, alright, fam. What, a 0? A 0? I think it was like 0.3. I ain't gonna lie. Yo. So I went to go play the album and whatnot. The first track I heard, I ain't gonna lie, man. I mean, maybe I should go play it again. But all right, so if you know about that song "Rubbers" by Phoenix, I think it's Phoenix Flexing or Flexing, whatever. Anyway, "Rubbers." My pocket's getting bigger. My teeth is much stronger now, but I can't keep. You know what I mean? So right, that guy, right? So we saw a clip of that guy and Tiger in the studio. I don't know if it was a studio or it was doing a record or a video or whatever, right? And like, yo, the album kind of sound like that record, right? And it's like, I don't know what it is about it. It was just like, the lyrics were like really bad. like really bad because it's like him trying to do not a different genre, but it sounds like music that needs to be like worked on, right? Like the lyrics don't sound ready. The lyrics sound like mad general, mad like I opened the door, and I closed the door. I turned the car on. Like things that aren't really interesting. Like it's not. It wasn't good. So I ain't gonna lie. I played like half of the first track on the album. I kind of just went back to my day. You know what I'm saying? Shit, I just went back to the day. But anyway, I wanted to play. We gotta find this clip, man, with academics, where like he's I ain't gonna lie, he was going crazy. But Act made a really good point. This is right here. He made a really interesting point about Glass and Malone. Let me see if I can find. Wow, okay, you're doing this gay shit. Awesome, great. That's exactly what I want you to do. But anyway, so he made a point about what intelligence actually looks like and what it actually is, right? And again, when it comes to guys like this, because of the hierarchy and whatnot, so of course it's his show, and people can't stop you or cut you off during your show.